All right, I just got done riding bike, so I'm a little sweaty. But there's just this video I have to make. I know this video is not exactly like some of the other videos I make. Well, it kind of is lately. I do want to apologize for yesterday's video. You know, I didn't want to come across as harsh as I did, but I have to add in some of the bananas again because the greens it's just not enough calories. And like I'm having a hard time sleeping because I didn't eat enough. You know, I'm like too wired. So I have had to add that back in. But this has been a reflection. This is actually why I stopped doing raw the last time, because I couldn't handle it. And so I just want to actually talk about this. I hope this helps somebody. I still can't believe how messed up my lip got from that mango. That thing ripped me up. So anyway, so what's been going on is a lot of self-reflection, and I have not allowed myself to do that my entire life. You know, like my entire life, I just decided to push everything off to the under the carpet or whatever. Because men, you know, we're not allowed to have emotions. Otherwise, you know, supposedly the woman leaves and like never comes back, and you know, it's just stuff like this. So you're not allowed to have these emotions. But I've got this stuff trapped in, and if this at all resonates with you, you know, just let me know down in the comments if you can. Some people can't talk about it. You know, here I am talking to hundreds, thousands, whatever people about what I'm going through. But it's really been a journey, and I think it's getting, you know, at least a little more controllable. The last 5 days has been absolute hell. I mean, some of the things that I'm going through right now is the love of my life, my little cat, is really struggling right now, and like I don't know how much longer she's going to be here. And 13-year, closer to 15-year relationship is ending. My job, my post office job, is not working with me. I'm going to call them today and see if they will, because until this is exactly where I need it to be, whatever it is, YouTube, going out and doing speeches, whatever, weight loss, whatever is coming. Until that's actually here, I got to figure things out, because the art job is for schools and it only lasts till like May maybe. So I got to figure something out. Anyway. And so I don't know how to pay for this place. So it's just, there's so much going on. And I think the cortisol levels are pretty high. So that is trapping some of the weight, and it's making it a little harder to get rid of everything. So anyway, so this is what I wanted to talk about. So when I was younger, when I was in elementary school, I asked out this girl, right? And I've talked about this before. And she turns around. She looks at me. She's like, "What did you just say to me?" I said, "Will you go out with me?" And she's like, "You couldn't be any uglier if you tried." And I like absorbed that, like absorbed this. Like, this is the first time I've done this, and this is a fucking reaction I get. And like, this is not an angry video, and neither was last video. This is just me, you know, letting it out, and hopefully somebody gets something out of this other than me. So I internalized that. I think I was 10 or so at that point. And then I really had this like obsession with shoes, right? But my mom and dad were like, "Dude, we're not buying you a new pair of shoes every time they come out." So when I was around 13, maybe 14, I'm like, "Dad, you know, you got to get me into," you know, because he was a manager of the food distribution company of the retail end of it. So he was a manager of the retail end of it. And I'm like, "Man, just get me into work, man. I just want to work. I just want my shoes," right? So I go in, and like, sure enough, he gets me in. So I've been working since I was 13. And I shouldn't have been working a physical job like that in the first place. You know, when people talk about a foot pain, I just figured that the foot pain that I was going through was normal. It wasn't normal. I was actually etching away my ankle. And, you know, when I was 41 or 40, I had to have my ankle replaced. Anyway, so I was doing this. I was buying stuff. I was making a lot of money, because I think I was making like $18 an hour in 93, 13 years old. I mean, that, you know, you're a millionaire, right? So I'm just buying and buying and buying and buying. And like, it started becoming an obsession, and it started being a way of getting out of actually reflecting on what I was going through emotionally, right? Because, you know, you see these people go out there in the world, like, you know, I don't like Will Smith and I forget the other ones, but like I think Will Smith, his wife, admitted that she was cheating on him on air, and he starts crying, right? And they make memes about this. So you know, as a man, you cannot have these emotions. So I buy things, right? Then I start seeing this happened twice. This happened twice. My dad got proposed to by these gorgeous women. He's still married, and I'm like, what, you know, like, and then I'm like, man, he's so much better looking than me. And then my sister's gorgeous. She's like this 8-pound, like gorgeous, you know, long flowing, like, and my mom's pretty. And then there's me, and I self-reflect back to when I was like 10 or 11 with this girl. And I think the reason she was saying it was because I had long legs at the time, and she sat in front of me. We went to Catholic school, and she sat in front of me, and I was always kneeing her in the ass. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I don't fit in this desk at all. Like, so I think I like more going back, like, I think she was just so mad at me for always doing that, but I was not doing it on purpose. I could not fit in the desk. You know, I was almost 6 foot by 4th grade. So I was a size 12 by 4th grade. I mean, I was just a big dude. Like, I don't fit in these tiny little desks that you give us. So anyway, it wasn't on purpose, but anyway, so I'm seeing this, and then the second one that proposed to her literally was the daughter of the owner of the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, at the time. And I'm like, man, you know, like, I'm like flexing on this. I mean, my sister at like younger age, you know, than I am, like, is always, you know, having like I mean, like single digits. This girl is like having suitors already. I'm like, wow, man, it's crazy. So I started eating. So I bought Jordans, which I still have to this day because I barely wore them because I don't think they're comfortable. So I start selling them. I had a couple signed. I keep those in a safe somewhere. But like, so I had every Jordan ever made, barely worn, if worn at all. I had, like, if Abercrombie and Fitch made clothes, I owned it, right? If Nautica, like, these are old brands, I know. But if they had them, I owned them, right? They were in my closet. I don't care if it was $75, $80, $130, $40, $50 a shirt. Didn't care. I was making so much money. Didn't care. And actually, ironically, I've made more money off those things on my eBay than I did paying for them. It's crazy how much that stuff goes for. I don't know if it still does because I get rid of all of it. But because I barely wore it. My thing was, you wear things once, store it in a closet somewhere, and you never wear it again. After I got harassed for wearing the same thing in like once in 2 weeks or something like that. I've told this story before. So then goes on to, I finally in 1999 have to, this is all my reflecting. This is what I've been going through this last, and I hope this is helping you. If it is, give me a like, subscribe. If you think this could help somebody, share it, please. You know, because the more we talk about this kind of stuff, the more people will come together and not like hate each other, and like, you know, things will actually get more in line with where they should be. With, you know, because we're all creators. I created this nonsense. I created this, and we have to realize that we're all the creators of our life. And this is like kind of where my channel is going, but I'm still going to talk about diet. And oh, by the way, I did lose a pound over the last 2 days, so. I don't know, you know, fat, water, whatever. So going back to 1999, I'm thinking in my mind, the only way that I'm going to be attractive to anybody else is if I'm skinny. That's the only thing that there is. So I went on the keto. I did that. I did get skinny, and bam, I met my now ex-wife. So I figured this is the only way that it's possible. Then the relationship with her ends. I actually went out to Seattle. I went out to Seattle because we were planning on moving there. I went out to Seattle. I got a job. I was out there for a while. I lived in Mountain Lake Terrace. I think that was what it was called. It was like a couple miles north of Seattle. And I was out there for a while, but I couldn't get a hold of my wife. And I'm starting to think, like, is she seeing somebody? Sure enough, I come home. At that point, we had moved out of our apartment. I had moved my stuff back in with my parents. I understand where she was coming from. She didn't really feel like living with my parents. So she went back home and lived with her parents while I went out and got a job at, it's a food, it's a crab leg distributor. It's the largest one in the planet. That's all I'm going to say. So I got there because I knew I had connections there. They were going to pay me a ton of money just to, you know, operate the freezer. one of the freezers. And I come back home, and some of our stuff was there, so I cleaned it all up. I didn't want her to have to do this because I knew she was at work, and I got home. Her dad picked me up, dropped me off at my house. She walks in, looks at me, nothing else. I don't want to be with you anymore. I want to date other people. First words out of her mouth. So I internalized this is like, oh, because I started getting fatter again because her parents are always going out to eat, and the keto wasn't working anymore. And I was kind of getting complacent, and I self-internalized that. So I just started eating like crazy again because that's the only thing I could control. And sure enough, instead of working through things, I just got really mad. And I'm like, get your stuff and just get out of my life. And I've seen her twice since, that happened. That was 2005. And so I've internalized this, and I started becoming, I feel like I'm unlovable. So I self-sabotage, and no matter what happens, no matter how close I get to a healthy weight for me, which I can move really good with the weight I'm at because, I've got a fair amount of muscle on me. My legs are big, whatever. So I can walk pretty effortlessly, even at 300 some pounds. So I just start self-sabotaging myself. I'm like, nobody's going to find me lovable. And then when I was with this one now, I am probably the main reason that this relationship is over because I didn't like to be touched. I'm like, I feel like I don't like to be touched because I feel like I'm not worthy of being touched by somebody. So that started really getting on her nerves. As I can completely expect, it's kind of like my cat. Like my cat does not like to be touched. She's like, she goes stiff or she like goes limp. And that's kind of like what I do because I've never felt like somebody who's lovable enough for somebody to touch and hold or whatever. And, and then never mind sex. Like I just don't think I'm worthy of it. And it's just like, and I couldn't take it anymore. So I actually cut her off like 3 years ago. I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. And like, I was messing with my head. So, that kind of makes a relationship go downhill. And so I have been the creator of this craziness. So now, like everything else in my life is being torn apart. Some people are, told me like, no, you're just moving. I know I'm moving in a new chapter. But with me, everything is 100% or nothing. And like I'm in a book right now, my book, and half of it's just being torn off, like gone. And I'm just stuck dealing with that and going on raw because I'm not like, you can't eat like too much. Like I'm struggling to even get in enough calories to get through the day. I realized that I've been using food, and a lot of you are right if you've made it this far. A lot of you have been right. I probably was eating too much on the starch solution. I don't know. My stomach might be too big or something. I don't know. Well, we're going to see how this goes. But this has just been one crazy ass journey. When I'm on the other end of this, hopefully you all watch this journey. It's like kind of becoming a reality TV show. I'll be the man that somebody will just not let go of. And that's really what I've ever wanted in life. But I've self-sabotaged. And men really have a hard time talking about this because we get ostracized when we do. But I hope this helps somebody. I mean, I'm sure this helps male and female because we all go through this. Like if you're fat, you have some kind of something that you're hiding that you don't want to let go of. It's just like I attack people when they tell me I might be eating too many calories. That is the self-sabotage Ryan saying, no, I need all these calories because I got to drown whatever it is that I'm going through. Now, did I pick a crazy ass time to do this? Probably. But I figured everything else is ending that I know that is normal to me. I may as well just get rid of the past as well. And so here we are. I don't know if I'm probably making a lot of videos like this. I love this kind of stuff. This is what I want to do. This is like, I want to go out on stage because I know what it's like to be here. And the sooner people can realize what goes on in their head, and I actually can talk better when I'm standing, so I'm probably going to do this standing now. The sooner that you can get to a point where you are okay with who you are. And a lot of the Star Solution people probably already that they probably don't have any of this. This is, I got to do this, right? But if you like potatoes, I love potatoes. I'm Irish, right? So my whole family's from Ireland, you know, like my great grandparents and some of my grandparents, they had Irish accents, you know, like it was fun going over there, and they last forever. So, you know, most of them were in their hundreds by the time they called it a day. But, you know, they pickled their livers with all the alcohol. So, you know, it petrified it and it works forever, right? So this is the kind of video that I'm going to make. I hope it helps you. I'm also going to still make what I eat in a day. I'm still going to make all these kind of other videos that I make, but I got to get this out of my head. And I hope that it helps somebody else, because this is not fun. There's nothing fun about this. There's nothing fun about self-sabotaging yourself to the point where you're not lovable to yourself or anybody else around you. And then you become miserable and you hate everything. And that's where I've been for the most of my life. I mean, who am I kidding? I was the nicest kid you ever met in your life. Everybody tells me this, and I remember this. I would do anything for anybody. And then one day, I just shut down. And I've been who I am since. And I just don't want to do it anymore. I want the next person that I'm with to have all of me, instead of me hiding behind these ridiculous beliefs. Anyway, I hope that helped you. If it did, give me a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.